Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well today. Today's quick video is to tell you a little bit more about poison dwarfs in the fitness industry in the UK. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, poison dwarf is a term I use to describe a fitness class instructor who keeps a small clique of people happy in the class, but who also actively discourages new members and other customers from joining and from staying in the class. And as a result, those people would usually not come back to the class, and many of them will eventually leave the club because there is nothing interesting for them in there. I'm talking about this because I happen to be interested in public health, and I think instructor who would put people off from returning to fitness clubs and exercising may be hazardous in terms of public health. So in today's video I will tell you a little bit more about what the poison dwarfs do to discourage people from coming to the classes and to the club. So first thing the dwarf will do is going to try to embarrass you in front of the class, or try to exclude you socially. So for example, if you say anything to him, he will reply in a rude manner, or he will reply in a way that will make you feel embarrassed and you will not feel comfortable in the class. Another thing dwarfs do is they would try to pick on you constantly. That means give you unwanted attention in the class. And they can always explain this to the manager later, saying they had to correct your movement, they were looking after your health and safety, but this is not really the motivation behind their action. They just try to make sure that you don't enjoy being there and you are made to feel like you are doing everything wrong and you shouldn't be in the class. So, for example, I've been going to body pump classes for over 10 years, and I think I know almost every movement and I know how to do it. But a poison dwarf would still pick on me and try to correct me non-stop, even though I'm quite sure I'm doing the movements correctly. Also, I never had an injury in the last over 10 years doing those classes, and the dwarf has got multiple injuries. The dwarf cannot put any weights on the bar and will exercise with like a barbell only, but he would still pick on you even though you are more experienced than most of the people in the class. So that's how you know it's a dwarf. And dwarfs have many other ways of making members feel uncomfortable. It will also be by spreading malicious gossips about other people, other members. So I've seen some dwarfs saying really nasty things about people who didn't turn up to the class. So if you listen to this, you might think, oh my god, this environment is really unfriendly and toxic, and it's maybe good idea to just not come back here and find something else. When a dwarf does not succeed in excluding you as quick as he would like, he will use even more malicious behaviors, and these behaviors can involve other people as well. So the dwarf can basically employ other members or other instructors to try to make you feel unwelcome. I recently encountered a dwarf who invited a friend to a class. The dwarf could not directly be verbally abusive towards me, so he invited somebody who was. So he invited a male who would be next to me in the classes, and whenever I smiled or I did anything, he was making comments, really nasty comments about me. And then the same man would try to assault me when we were putting the weights away. So as you can see, dwarfs can be quite manipulating and can use other people too. I also encountered a dwarfess who thought she can basically directly assault me by walking into me and pretending that I'm not there. So this is the next level of craziness, but as you can see, this can also happen. Poison dwarfs will also use the opportunity when a large group of people leaves and enters the fitness studio, especially if it's got narrow door. This can be used to assault someone and try to make it look like it was just an accident. And the issue here is, if you get assaulted by instructor and you report it to the club manager, then it is very likely that you will be excluded and your membership will be cancelled. So the dwarf already knows about this, knows the company procedures, and will try to use the procedures that are set to look after him to exclude you. For a club manager who cares about members' retention, dealing with a poison dwarf is not very easy. In order to do anything about such dwarf, you would need to have evidence. And collecting evidence from a fitness studio with music and noise and sometimes with a low level of light, it's extremely difficult. A dwarf may be abusing customers in there for years, and you will never be able to obtain any evidence. This is unless you actually got a camera and some kind of recording devices in the studio, and you can sometimes listen to what's going on in there. Nevertheless, most fitness clubs do not have anything like this, and a lot of dwarfs will just thrive in this closed environment. So, fitness industry. Now you know a little bit more about the dwarfs and what they do, and this is something that may be costing you a large number of memberships, and this might be why there is very little diversity in your club. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I will try to make you another video when I get the chance.